Welcome. This evening's program is entitled Heroes and Healing. This is intermission, November 11th, 2020. Today is Veterans Day. I'm going to kick off today's show with a veterans poem by Cheryl Dyson. On Veterans Day, we honor all who answer to a service call. Soldiers young and soldiers old fought for freedom, brave and bold. Some have lived while others died, and all of them deserve our pride. We're proud of all the soldiers who kept thinking red, white, and blue. They fought for us and all of our rights. They fought through many days and nights, and though we may not know each name, we thank all veterans just the same. Welcome to our Veterans Day program. We're going to start a little bit. I want to share a Veterans Day experience. Well, it's actually not a Veterans Day experience, but it's an experience with veterans and children. And I think you'll find it rather interesting. And then at the end, we're going to talk a little bit about healing the country following the election. The story about the veterans. I was traveling on the East Coast, as I did for many years, with junior high kids, and we were studying the history of America. And Washington, D.C. is a great place for that, and there's lots of monuments and lots of historical things to study. And as we were cruising early in the morning down the Washington streets and through the monument areas, we noticed a huge amount of chartered buses, just like the ones we were riding on, and they all carried full World War II veterans. And it was interesting to just see. It looked like a Veterans Day convention but just for the World War II folks. Our tour director decided he wouldn't find out about what was going on here, and when he inquired, he found out that this was a program called Honor Flight. And that's where this collection of World War II veterans came from. And I talk a little bit about Honor Flight because it's a very interesting organization. The mission of Honor Flight is to transport American veterans, at this time it was World War II veterans, to Washington, D.C. to visit the memorials dedicated to honoring those who have served and sacrificed for their country. The Honor Flight Network is a national network of independent hubs working together to honor our nation's veterans with an all-expenses-paid trip to Washington, D.C. to tour the monuments and memorials that were dedicated to them. Participants in the Honor Flight trip Participation in the Honor Flight trip gives veterans the chance to share this momentous trip with other veterans, to remember friends and comrades lost, and share their stories and experiences with each other. The Honor Flight Network is currently serving veterans who served from World War II through Vietnam. They also serve terminally ill veterans from any area of the service, and to participate in an Honor Flight trip, you need to contact the Honor Flight website. One last thing about Honor Flight, this update from October 15th, 2020, Honor Flight Network has postponed trips through February 28th, 2021 in response to COVID-19. Honor Flight participants or those who wish to be participants needs to contact the website. Now, back to our story in Washington, D.C. As at the time we encountered this elite group, I was traveling, like I said before, with junior high students studying the East Coast American history. The World War II Memorial was where we first contacted a group of these World War II veterans, and pride as students, and there was a lot of pride, especially from this sponsor, as students initiated handshakes and interaction with these true American heroes. Thank you for your service. Comments was the standard introduction. Many students accepted this challenge with sincerity. A few succumbed to peer pressure, but at any rate, I think everybody gained from the experience. This activity was a surprise to the aging visitors. As the day wound down, we encountered a different group of veterans at the Iwo Jima Monument, or the United States Marine Corps War Memorial, and it was late in the day, and the veterans were seated in the shade or resting on their buses as they prepared to go to the airport and for their flight home. As our students began their respectful greetings, one of the sponsors of the group of veterans asked if our students could come on board their buses and would have time to listen to some stories. Several of our students boarded their bus, and several veterans boarded the student bus, and some of our students just sat calmly on the benches with veterans, and for about 45 minutes they shared stories. They joined and in the shadows of the U.S. Marine Corps National War Memorial on an early summer evening in June, and I believe the year was 2004, the veterans of a war fought decades previous shared primary source stories from their real-life experience. Students sat in awe as the true American heroes presented the most important experiences of their legendary lives. When we reassembled, students were anxious to share their stories. This was the greatest teachable moment that I think I may have ever experienced. Eyes of the veterans sparkled as they enjoyed the respect from a younger generation, a generation who had a reputation for lacking respect. What a proud day. This is an experience that I'll never forget, a feel-good moment for all involved, in a time which I don't think any of the students will forget, and a very special time for a very special group of proud Americans. Moving on, aside from Veterans Day, today is actually and additionally National Education Day. And it's also National Sundae Day. So if you got some ice cream and toppings in the fridge, this would be the time to serve one up. Tomorrow will be National Happy Hour Day. On Friday, World Kindness Day. Saturday, National Pickle Day and World Diabetes Day. And on Sunday, National Recycling Day. On the nature scene, if you're walking in the woods in the next few days, look for old bird nests. It can give you a hint as to what lives in the forest and in the woods. And look for frost flowers. If you've never seen one, it's a real sight to see a flower basically animated in frost. You might also notice, if you look closely, some red bats forego migration over the winter, and in leaf litters and among dead leaves, they might be clinging to trees. And looking ahead to next week, on Tuesday, the Leonid meteor shower will be at its peak, and again, we're hoping for some good weather. The last meteor shower was kind of a dud because we got in some rainy, stormy weather. A reminder, information for Nature Scene comes from the Missouri Department of Conservation, and for information on any of the tidbits in this episode, you may contact any of your local MDC offices. The election is over, and Joe Biden is the president-elect, but our nation is still in crisis on so many fronts. When we seek encouragement and peace, oftentimes we turn to our spiritual leaders. For me, that is the Bishop Michael Curry, presiding bishop of the Episcopal Church. He feels that in these troubled times, we should seek common ground and cling to our values. The followings are excerpts from Bishop Curry's sermon, Holding On to Hope. Bishop Curry: our ideals, values, principles, and dreams of beloved community matter. They matter because they drive us beyond service of self alone to commitment for the greater good of us all. They matter because they give us an actual picture of God's reign of love and a reason to struggle and make it real. They matter in our lives as people of faith. They matter to our life in civil society. They matter to our lives as a nation and as a world. Our values matter. Bishop Curry continues, the values and dreams we hold as a nation are shared American values. They must matter even more. We are in the midst of a national election in the context of profound division that, left unhealed, could prove injurious to the fabric of democracy itself. The right to vote and to participate in the democratic process is a value of the highest order. Continuing, to be sure, no form of government attains perfection. The preamble to the Constitution wisely reminds us that each generation must continue the evolving work of forming a more perfect union. No, our democracy is not perfect, but it offers the best hope yet, devised for government that fosters human freedom, equal justice under the law, the dignity and equality of every human being, made in the Bible, as the Bible says, in the image of God. Despite our flaws and failings, we have some shared values. One of them is the preservation and perfection and protection of a representative democracy itself, that government of the people, by the people, and for the people shall not perish from the earth. We don't think of it this way very often, but love for each other is a value on which our democracy depends. So, whatever your politics, however you cast your vote, however the election unfolds, wherever the course of racial reckoning and pandemic takes us, whether we are in the valley or on the mountaintop, hold on to the hope of America. Hold on, hope grounded in our shared values and ideals. Hold on to God's dream. Hold on and struggle and walk and pray for our nation. We'd like to thank Bishop Michael Curry for those words. Those words of comfort and encouragement provide a foundation for our second act. I'm going to close tonight again with a poem which explores what we seek. And this poem is by Ms. Moem. We are not soldiers. Peace runs through our hearts. War rages on, regardless. We need not take part. Life can be a struggle, a perpetual night, but the sun won't rise quicker if we choose to fight. So let's down our weapons and open our arms, become a safe haven of kindness and calm. Life need not be a battle. where we merely survive. We want to rest in peace. We should live it while we're alive. Intermission is over for tonight, and it's time to get on with your show. Thank you for listening and watching.